Okay. Well, I'll quickly show you. So, Greener Media, we're a production company focusing on social environmental impact-focused projects. We work predominantly with nonprofits and corporations on social responsibility. I'll just show you a quick sizzle reel.
You can keep looking at my face.
All right.
And Elmo. And Elmo. Sure.
Remaining. Keynote 101. Current slide. Delay. All right. Anyway, we can show you the sizzle, or you can just visit our website greenermedia.com. You can see it there. All right. I'll let you intro Sesame Workshop.
Yeah. So Sesame Workshop is the nonprofit organization behind Sesame Street. So we are everything as a company, from licensing and products and themed entertainment to our social impact work, which covers everything from Wash Up Initiative, which is teaching kids in South Africa the importance of washing their hands and sanitation, to our Refugee Initiative, which I'm sure a lot of people have heard about recently. We're actually getting ready to announce the premiere date for our new show in the Middle East for displaced children tomorrow. So very exciting. But we are across the board just a really dynamic company, to put it lightly.
So, the task in celebration of Sesame's 50th anniversary, Victoria and team came to us because we had worked with the social impact team at Sesame Workshop, because there are many different departments across many different countries. And
yeah, so I probably should explain that just so you get like a really great understanding of how we got introduced to Jesse. Like I said, we are everything from licensing and themed entertainment, which is one whole department, to everything with our social impact side. And one of those organizations, or one of the departments there, is Sesame Street and Communities, which is our resources for children, everything from dealing with divorce to traumatic experiences, things you see in the news, all that sort of stuff. So Jesse had worked with our SSIC team previously, did an amazing job with the live stream, and we decided to work with Greener Media again for something for our 50th.
Awesome. So let's try to watch a clip from it and see if that works. Does this work?
How many people does it take to make Elmo dance?
How many people does it take to make Elmo dance? So I can answer that because for many, many years, I was
coordination it takes to move their mouth and their hands and match up to the words you're supposed to be saying, and all of that all in one shot. So we thought for our 50th, why not show people on Facebook what has been happening behind the scenes for the last 50 years, and all that it takes for the Puppeteers to make Elmo and Cookie Monster and Big Bird come to life. Big Bird's a bit different though. It's like a full costume and his arms up here. It's a lot.
This actually is a good talking point, because part of the process of getting ready for the live stream, we had multiple production meetings. We had multiple rehearsals, not just on the day, but the day prior. So we had a test run through.
And yet we tested this right before starting,
and it worked, yeah. So that's how it goes sometimes.
Does it need to go out of presentation mode maybe?
2 slides here?
Yeah, so
The second one is the video.
yeah, so it says like Cokes remain. And then,
No, just looking at the logo, it's really cute.
Oh, the 50th logo.
Yeah.
It's honestly kind of sad that it's over now because like everything was that, looked like that. Like we had like tote bags that were that, like everything was this 50th. And now our new campaign, which we'll launch in March, is still so fun. But like you're like, this is so, everything was branded this, so it was awesome. And we actually had it animated. So each of the characters that you see in here, like Cookie Monster's eyes would swirl, and Elmo would blink, and it would like slowly all come together into this 50. And it was beautiful. Yeah, it was really nice. So.
Hey everyone, so we're going on the fly here with tech issues, and tech issues mean we have to deal with it on the spot. We're going to switch out the laptops real quick because it's not working from the main one. And I'll just add, we're also having tech issues with our live stream going to our broadcast. So Joshua and people on who Eugene and everyone, hi. Thank you for letting us know about the audio issues. We hope you can hear us now, and we'll be right back with you.
okay, so.
People can still follow us on our Twitter hashtag where I just am tweeting a bunch of Muppet gifs.
Shameless plug. As part of the 50th, we actually made stickers and gifs in the Giphy office with the characters.
Hey there, are you a fan of Sesame Street? Have you ever wondered how the Sesame Street characters work and maybe even wanted to be a Sesame Street puppeteer? Well, if that's you, you are in luck because for the next hour, join me, Matt Vogel, I just bumped my mic, and Sesame Street Muppet performers Martin P. Robinson and Jennifer Barnhart for a Sesame Street Puppeteer Workshop on Facebook Live! Woo! Not live! It's live! Not live!
On Integrated Street, we wanted to show adults treating one another kindly, and we wanted the adults to be forceful and dignified.
Everything was to be educational, but entertaining as well. And so when they said Jim Henson, I said, you could get Jim Henson? And that was how Big Bird was born.
So yeah, so that was the start of the live stream, and so we did that rehearsal multiple times. I included this clip in memory of Caroll Spinney, who was Big Bird, who recently passed away.
And just pointing out, that was huge for us with Greener Media, that we were able to show clips from the last 50 years as part of that live stream. A lot of times you look at a live stream and you're just literally live streaming. So to be able to pull in content that already existed and kind of give it more context before we started jumping right into how you puppeteer a puppet was really awesome.
So the teams. So there was the Sesame side and the Greener side. This is just a quick screen grab of the team on our end in terms of producers, technical directors, broadcast, cinematographers, sound, production coordinators. It took there's the technical and then also side of things. Hold on, I'm just going to quickly, we kind of already talked about this, just looking at my notes, because this is in presentation mode.
Oh no, do you want this?
Oh, good call. On the fly. And then this is, Victoria can speak to your team.
Yeah, so
and,
on our
this
side.
This is only part of the team.
Yeah, so in general, anything we do takes a ton of people. So director, stage manager, myself, our producers, our PAs, our pretty much whole IT team, which come with us to everything. And of course, Henson, who brought in, I think we had, I want to say we had about 25 to 30 Muppets with us that day. We have what's called AM Muppets. They're general Muppets. They're not a character. They're just really fun, colorful Muppets that don't have names. So they all came for this. And we had a ton of meetings with our production team. Trying to think who else. And a director we needed. Who you saw in the beginning of the video is Matt Vogel. Matt Vogel is our puppet captain. He plays Big Bird and Count. So he acted as our host. But we needed script writers as well to make sure he was looped in on everything he was supposed to be saying and hitting all of our marketing bullets, because obviously we needed to have some marketing behind this, that it's the 50th, so we needed to drive that home as well.
Yeah, and in terms of it being live, it's like live television. Anything screw up, I mean, when he bumped his mic, he acknowledged it because that was the reality of the situation. Whoever's watching is hearing and seeing whatever's going on. And also, people who are streaming can write in and send notes of like, oh, there's a sync issue. Oh, you should know that. So there's that kind of live feedback. If you also want to continue on about social.
So obviously my job with social is really important. We needed to make sure people knew this was happening and were alerted to it going on. So we started promoting a week out. We have a fantastic creative team who made this graphic for us to promote. But we just promoted it, I want to say like 3 or 4 times that week on our social channels. But we really made a point to say like our Facebook page so you get a notification when we go live. We also, I think Jesse will touch on this more later, we actually went live for, I believe it was 6 minutes before we actually went on camera with the Puppeteers. So people got that notification like, hey, we're live. And then we allowed the audience time to build, which was really important. So we didn't start off with like 10 people watching. I think we started off with around 200.
Yeah, which then built, I think.
Which then built even more, yeah. I don't know if it's in here, but we did have, at one point we had the count come out, because Matt plays the count. So we had him come on, and after some like coaching of here's how you do this, and he brought him out. And obviously, like I said, you only see from the waist up. So we set it all up so they could see like what Matt was seeing and what you see on TV. But we hit like such a spike. I think we were like over 500 or even more when the count came out and talked. And I was like, we should do this more often. I mean, I just need live Muppets on social, and I'm going to be great at my job. So that's awesome.
I remember your team talking about like key learning was like having a character, a recognizable character, suddenly spiked the audience. So the screen grab earlier of the Sesame team was just kind of on the production side, really, and all the behind the scenes. Didn't even include talent, right? So you have the master puppeteers, you also have interns and other staffers who were just willing to get in there.
We made all the interns do it. We were like, you don't have a choice. You're part of this Puppeteer Live. And we made them wear Elmo shirts.
Yeah, so this is just a short clip to show all the apprentices and master puppeteers in action. And you can see the cameras were positioned so we could capture both the wide behind the scenes of the room and then the picture-in-picture moment.
Yeah, something really important to point out. So when we shoot anything, that obviously this is a little different because we were allowing you to see the puppeteers, which usually when we take photos, when we take videos, anything, we're like, ooh, we see a puppeteer head, you gotta crop it. So this is really different for us, but so this picture-in-picture down here, when we shoot anything, the puppeteer's arm is up here, and then they're sitting on the ground and they're looking at a monitor that is feeded into the camera that is shooting the puppet. So they see what the camera sees. The puppets aren't real, so they need to be able to see like what the camera sees of the puppet. So this really helped to demonstrate that.
Yeah, and this is actually on this
right
monitor, so getting meta, we're live streaming the live stream. So this is the actual monitor. The camera's just off to the right with the microphone. And so there, all of the puppeteers are looking at the monitor and providing real-time feedback to the apprentices.
If you're on the edge of the frame over there, don't throw yourself out of the. If you're on the edge of the frame over there, don't throw yourself out of the edge of the frame. You want to save some space. Yeah, get back in here. All right, everybody. You're good. All right, here we go. Ready? And hands neutral down here.
Yeah, don't cup your face or choke yourself.
Don't be doing that.
There you go.
Here we go. And right, left, center, up, down, forward, 2, 3, 4. Right, focus. Da 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 da. Focus. Da 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 da.
I'm watching it back. I'm like, I could never do this. It's so hard.
Which takes us to anything that's live, as I mentioned, live television. Rehearsal, it's so important. We had, as I mentioned before, multiple walkthroughs with and without talent, just where people were standing in for the talent to just read through the script that was already provided, to make sure that not only when the talent came on, we knew what to do, but like that everyone, communication was key in the rehearsal process, so that the cinematographers, the 2 camera people, the sound person knew what mics needed to go up and down, because we had different mics live at certain points.
Yeah, it was really important that everything be really buttoned up by the time we got the Puppeteers in there. They're very used to, obviously, as you can see, they're pros. I mean, they come in, what do you need me to do? Let's do it. And we just needed everything to be buttoned up and know what we were doing with cameras and what was shooting them where, at what time, and it took a lot of rehearsal for us to make that all.
And you had a note about limited access to talent because...
Yeah, we do. We have a limited access to the talent. There's one Cookie Monster, there's one Elmo. Obviously, they weren't in this, but it's a small group of puppeteers. And we did not have them, I think, until that day. So we had a walkthrough the day before. But that day, we had them come in, and that was the first time they were seeing everything. They were seeing the script. They were seeing what we were asking them to do. So we definitely needed to make great use of that short amount of time that we have with them to kind of explain what we're doing and what our goals are with it and where they need to be looking.
So next up, we have a clip from the live stream that includes a component of live audience engagement, which was slightly assisted from pre-planning.
Yes, yeah. So like I said, we had social media ahead of time, like a week out, promoting this, but we also, it was me and one other person were sitting there scrolling through the comments during the live stream to make sure we were pulling any questions and pulling appropriate questions. And of course, in the live stream, you get crazy questions. We got asked where Elmo was about 20 times. To which we said Elmo is napping, but he's 3.5. He has to nap. But yeah, so we made sure we were really answering those questions that were coming in through the live stream because that was our communication with our audience.
And in terms of questions that were pre-planned, in case there were any?
Oh yes, so we did that. We give away the magic. So I make sure that anytime we do anything like this, we actually for our 50th just did a Twitter Q&A, that I have people on my team who are standing by ready to ask questions just in case we don't get any. It's so important to have somebody start that conversation, especially on social, because not everybody's going to jump in. And I mean, I know I'm not a big commenter on organizations' posts, but if I see somebody else doing it, I'm more likely to do it. So we definitely had our marketing team like ready to go with questions that were pre-planned. But we actually didn't really need it. We had a ton of people tune in and ended up getting a lot of questions. And like I said, once Count came out, it was like, Count's here. What can I ask him? So
we'll take a few more questions. We'll take 2 questions. One question is...
That's me.
We'll take a few more questions. We'll take 2 questions. One question is...
How many people does it take to make Elmo dance?
How many people does it take to make Elmo dance? So I can answer that because for many, many years, I was Elmo's feet and would help him dance. But so it takes the primary performer performing the head of Elmo, and a lot of times he will have like a rod in his back or posterior area to help balance the puppet. And then there's a second puppeteer that does the arms right there, so he's able to dance. And then there's a third puppeteer that is down low doing the feet. Now sometimes if it's something crazy, we might have a fourth puppeteer come in here that does this hand, or sometimes the primary puppeteer can do that, and they all can move around, and it's that kind of thing. But basically 3. Anytime we see a full body puppet like that and they're either dancing and you're seeing their full body, it generally takes 3.
Spandex green suits and do it on a green screen, and then they, in post-production, they wash it all out.
So the results.
Yes. So I'm sorry, it's like in my notes. But yeah, we were really happy with the results. Like I said, the highest viewership we had was while the count was on screen, which of course. But we were at 93,000 impressions for the video, which was awesome. We had 13,000 engagements and 34,000 video views. And you can see we had 1,000 likes on it, almost 400 shares. And then I believe that's 33,000 comments. So we were very happy with the reaction we had. This is the first time we'd ever done anything like this, that we allowed people access to our Muppets just in the middle of the day on a Friday, and it was really cool to see people come out and have those conversations with us. That's when it makes it, at least for social, that's when it makes it all worth it, is when we see people interact with the brand, and we were thrilled. And like I said, a big part of it too for us, for the 50th, was being able to add that context in and have that those videos that show what the last 50 years have been like for Sesame Street. Again, this is the first time we did anything like this, so being able to put that context to it was super important, and Greener Media did a fantastic job of being able to add that in there.
So that kind of, in general, sums up what we did together.
Yeah.
It was a lot of work. It was not just, the hour, because I think originally it was slotted for maybe 45 minutes.
Yeah, I think we went way over.
Yeah, I wound up going like an hour and 10, and there were, the team was like, is it going to be okay? It's like, yeah, I mean, that's what we're here for. We're here to keep it going.
But the puppeteers are fantastic. Once you get them going, it's like, I mean, that's their craft, and they're so good at it that once we started pulling questions from social, they were like, okay, one more. Okay, one more. Like, it's equally as cool for them to be able to answer all of those questions. But I can say that we are looking into doing it again. We were trying to do it in November, but unfortunately it didn't work out with our set. But we are hoping to do it again and have more interactive than just the count who we have.
The puppeteers what? Mask?
Sorry, so we call it masked versus unmasked. So how you just saw them on the puppet on the screen, it's like, it's so crazy when you realize this is like second nature to me now after being there for 3 years. It's considered masked when you just see Elmo from the waist up and you don't see a puppeteer. It's considered unmasked when you see them how you just did, where you're seeing the puppeteer. So occasionally they'll do like, if we had count up here today if they do like a speaking engagement, they'll come out with the puppet on their arm and you'll see the puppeteer, and that's unmasked.
But you're going to do it masked next time.
Yeah, so
It's not your policy to do unmasked, really, right?
It's not. This is the first time we've ever done it. Yeah. And the 50th was really cool in that it allowed us to say yes to things that we wouldn't always say yes to. And we really took advantage of that as a marketing group, because how often were we going to turn 50 and justify it? And so this was definitely an internal conversation of, do we want to do this and show this? You don't want to ruin the magic. Mm-hmm. So yeah, this is a big moment for us. But we were actually, to end the 50th, we're looking at doing a live stream of a set tour. So you could take a tour of the set, and the characters would pop out. Abby would come out of Abby's garden and have Cookie Monster on the stoop. Like I said, it was our set, just we couldn't make it work at the time, but we are hoping to do it again. So please tune in and like our page for updates. Hopefully we'll do it again. So cool. Yeah.
Are there any online questions?
Just a quick question, Stephanie from Macaulay Honors College. Is there a specific date that's better, or a day of the week it's better to do a live stream?
So we picked a Friday at, I think we did 2 or 3 p.m. Our thought behind that, again, this is our first time doing it, so I can't speak to, like what our results are in terms of like different times. But our thought was, it's a Friday, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That's generally when you're lagging a little bit and you're like, I'm gonna check out Facebook. We just felt like that seemed like a better time. We did actually talk about doing it on a Saturday or a Sunday because we were like, that's so much easier and people are gonna wanna watch with their kids. We have a fan audience, but we also have a huge parent audience, obviously, on social. So we wanted to do it on a Saturday, but it's a lot to coordinate. Like, you saw the full list of people that we needed on our side and Jesse's side. So our preference would have been a weekend, just based on who our audience is and the fact that they would have loved to watch with their kids. But yeah, we chose a Friday that felt like the best day when people were able to be online, even if they were at work. Which I know is not always necessarily true. You have Fridays that are like insane, but that was our thinking behind it.
And I also just want to say, beyond it being live streamed, the beauty of Facebook or YouTube is once it's live streamed, it's then accessible and available online. So there are comments and people engaging with it after the fact if they couldn't.
Yeah, and we did get a ton of those comments during. Like, we saw a lot of people saying, like tagging their friends and me, like, show Johnny this later, or like, I remember a specific comment of someone saying like, oh my gosh, like, so-and-so is going to be so sad he's at school and missed this. So it really was nice that it was able to, like, it stayed up. We didn't have any, a lot of times for us, if we have a legal issue with any music or anything, we'll need to pull down a live stream, but we didn't have that with this, and we were able to leave it up, and that was a big part of making sure that, like, we were monitoring how it was performing in the first, hour that it went on, but also in the next, week after it was posted, that because impressions, engagement, all of that grows afterwards with a live stream, because not everyone checks their Facebook notifications.
Most organizations don't have the resources you do. So, there's probably like a communications person who's trying to do 12 of those roles, and they're not experienced really in all of them. So do you have advice for how to scale down to make this accessible to smaller orgs?
So, Chris here was telling me about this new piece of technology. It's called the Mevo, okay. Which is more of a do-it-yourself. It sounds like a fantastic, accessible option, like very affordably priced, where you just, all you need is that and your phone, and you can, I think, sync up up to nine of them, 9 cameras? No, sorry.
Do you want me to answer?
Sure.
Easier. Yeah. It's the most affordable option on the market, I think, for nonprofits. It's about $150 for one piece, the top piece. The bottom piece is a 10-hour battery life and extender, and also allows Ethernet connection. It does a fisheye lens, and you can then, on your app, on your phone or your computer, you can create up to 9 different views, so zoomed in on different people's faces on a panel or a wide angle, and then you can swap between them and play like producer, but on the fly.
That alone.
And you can connect multiple of them together as well.
So one will give you 9 views?
Yeah, one camera does multiple views. I can show you afterwards if you want to see.
So, for us as a production company, it was, it's important to be as accessible as possible working with organizations within their means. What's been amazing is the digital revolution where technology is more and more accessible when you can not just use that, but you can also just use your phone to live stream to Facebook or to YouTube with an account. So the technology is more and more accessible. and yeah. It's
Yeah, and from a social standpoint, I would just say we're very lucky. I was saying this to you before, and we're very lucky that we have the audience that we have. We have a huge audience on Facebook, and I can honestly say I came into the role and that audience was already there. Obviously, it's Sesame Street. But I think it's really important for us, and in the other live stream that you did for us for Sesame Street and Communities, I think it's important too if you can work with another organization and take advantage of someone else's audience and really do it together. I think that will help some of that engagement. I mean, obviously this was huge, but I think if you're able to tap into other audiences, that's the best way to be able to grow your page and have a similar result.
I'm just curious how 2 people handled 33,000 comments.
So it moved pretty fast, as you can imagine. But all of the questions that we were getting weren't all things that I would throw at the puppeteers to be like, hey, answer this. So we definitely just, as much as we could, we had like a Google Doc, and we're just like putting any questions that we saw in the Google Doc that we, within reason, that we would answer. We definitely missed them, I will say that. Going back and looking at it, we were like, oh, that would have been a good question. But yeah, there was 2 of us, you know, nonprofit life, there's not a lot of us. And we did the best we could. And I think the questions we ended up getting with the puppeteers were really solid questions. Like, how many people does it take for Elmo to dance? That was so specific to being a puppeteer that it was awesome. It was a great question. We also got questions of where's Elmo, where's Cookie Monster? We're not gonna throw that at them. So we definitely were picky with what we picked out from all of those comments, but it moved really fast.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks so much. This is so great. I'm loving this. I do have 2 questions, and one is just a more general in terms of like your brand, because again, like you're saying, some people would watch with their kids. I'm wondering, did you put any like sort of disclaimer or something like that about they'll see the puppets without you, or just behind the scenes, you're hoping parents would realize what that was?
Yeah, we didn't, and I will say that I occasionally, not on the street channel because we never do this, but like on our Sesame Workshop social pages are more. Like if we have a speaking event that a character, like I said, is unmasked and we see the puppeteer, we'll post those photos, and we do occasionally get the comment that's like, why are you doing this? You're ruining my childhood. But no, we did not put any disclaimer. We fully leaned into this, saying, go behind the scenes with the puppeteers of Sesame Street. But what really allowed us to be able to do that was the 50th. It was a different year for us. This is a show that has been around for 50 years. We also, we really have to be sensitive with social because there's not kids on social media, but what there is parents who hand over their cell phones to their kids to watch. So a lot of times we need to think through, like, are we trying to target an adult audience in this? And then that influences the creative and the way we promote it. And this was meant for an adult audience.
And so the other question I was going to have is, earlier you mentioned that you didn't go live right away. You kind of like told people you were live. Yeah. So when they came there, what did they see? Was it that real, or was it just?
Yeah, here, Jesse.
Yeah. So the Facebook Live page, actually, as you can see here, there was a countdown. So I mean that countdown, I forget when exactly, I guess it was right around that time. So it was literally just counting down till we went live.
They stayed, like they didn't go away, like you kind of realized, oh okay, it's almost on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So and that was also very important, just to have the countdown of like we're going live in.
You didn't miss it.
Yeah, you didn't miss it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've seen other brands like Disney do that before, where I've seen them do it with the parks, where they're live streaming the parade or something. Obviously theirs is a lot more intense, but they do a countdown because it's important to let people know, like, it's coming, but it's also important to build the audience, because if you're going live right away, you're gonna have like 10 people.
So you think, like, what was it, 10 minutes you gave them a heads up? Was it about 10 minutes?
I think it was like 7 minutes, yeah. But yeah, I would say no more than 10. 10 even feels long.
Yeah.
I would say you could probably do 5. Because any more than that, people aren't going to stick around.
Right.
But I think 5 minutes feels good.
With the graphic, though, I mean, we did list the...
Oh yeah, we listed the time, yeah. And we did go live at 2 p.m. and then it took us a few minutes to... But I think it's better that way. I think you have to have an audience ready to go and build anticipation. Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. The time being there is very important. It's a small thing, but it's a big thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was going to offer to skip back to the reel, that, but yeah, I can. Okay, all right. Just so, while live streaming is something that we provided, it's as a production company, we also do documentary and other work beyond just live streaming. Now, this is going to play. Maybe this video just. That's the scissor reel that was missed at the start. But yeah, so I mean, so that experience really for us, just in terms of doing documentary.
Hey there, are you a fan of Sesame Street?
I think we're all fans. So what I was going to say, just the experience of doing a variety of different production, both live action and animation, I think helped inform us to what's possible when doing a live stream, of incorporating graphics, of incorporating video, and thinking through creatively, like what's the run of show, how are you going to keep the audience engaged and play throughout that hour. So
yeah, and we really did have a very very strict and tight run of show. It was, here's what we're doing from this time to this time, and then we're going to add in a question here, and then we're going to counts coming in here, and then we're doing the dancing that you saw on the video at this time. Like, we really did keep a tight run of show.
Which Matt, the director, master puppeteer, in terms of scripting, was, I mean, key and crucial in coming to us with, with script and making sure that we knew what we were getting into.
Yeah.
So the real part that you showed at the beginning, I think I'm loud. Okay. Am I loud enough? Thank you. Yeah. The real part that you showed at the beginning, you just kind of like you just run it on the screen and let it get filmed, or like how did you incorporate that? You just kind of ran it, and then it got picked up on the live.
Sorry, the reel that I just showed.
No, the clips in the beginning about the history.
Yeah. So
what was your trick to do that?
So, I mean, part of the Wirecast, the streaming software, was like preloading, having all of the graphics.
Okay, you have that in there.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
you
yeah.
have to
So,
just, like, screen it and
so
actually just have it do that way.
part of the process, I think, of any live stream, as Chris is going to show,
Okay.
you have.
Your videos are preloaded in here so that I could play them directly.
Yeah. So that was
You cut the live and then you cut back the video.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that setup was pretty much the same of having, and in this instance, it wasn't just having the videos preloaded, but also pre-approved by legal in the case of an organization such as Sesame, making sure that also part of that was because it's live, you have things preloaded, but maybe you're going a little long on the questions. So while on the run of show, it's like at 15 minutes, we're going to this video. It's like, well, your technical director, your stage manager, everyone needs to be on point where things are moving in real time. So while you have it at set time in the script, you need to be able to just pick up on the cues.
Right. Okay.
What was your timeline for the project from brief to going live and budget?
Repeat the question.
What was our timeline from brief to actually shooting this? I'm trying to think. I can't remember if I gave you a long lead time or a short one. I thought it was short.
It was, so we had done.
It was like 2 months.
At least 2 months. So we had produced for the social impact team a live stream in December of 2018. I believe the team reached out to us around mid to late January.
Mm-hmm.
We came in for a meeting in February and then we had approximately, I guess it was 2 months of prep where all of the logistics, script, everything was being worked out, number of cameras. Because in this instance, we only had 2 cameras in the prior Sesame work, the prior workshop, which was not about Puppeteers at all. It was the announcement of Daisy, the homeless.
No, it was our homeless initiative.
Yeah.
I think it's Carly.
Carly, okay, sorry. So Carly, the first a homeless puppet character on the show. So that initiative, it was a live stream of experts on the subject matter of homelessness in families. And so there were about 6 or 7 experts. We had 4 cameras in kind of on a panel in a room not too dissimilar to this, like a lounge area. Yeah, and so for that, the lead time was also around the same amount of time.
I want to say looking at tech and stuff was much shorter though, because you saw the studio, but then the walkthrough was the day before, and we managed to pull equipment and all of that. I want to say in about 2 weeks.
Yeah. So it was within like 2 or 3 weeks. I guess at the start of April when we did a first like technical scout, location scout, and then we came in literally the day before, set up that morning, did a number of different rehearsals, and then came back the following day for the stream, which then required rehearsals with the talent because we didn't have the talent on that first day.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I do just want to say, I think I just told you the wrong Muppet. I don't think Carly's our homeless Muppet.
Okay.
It's being live streamed, so I need to make sure I got my facts straight.
In terms of budget,
Lily, I was going to say, I know it's like, yeah.
Googling.
And
Thank you.
yes.
Yeah.
In terms of budget, I'll say that it was. Is it okay for me to say?
I wouldn't give an exact amount, but I think you can.
Ballpark?
Yeah.
All right. The ballpark was in the like 20 to 30K range for the whole team to do all the pre-production, because I think you know, with the live stream, so much of it is about that moment, you know, that hour that you're live, but all of that pre-production leading up to and that time, and then the requirement of all the gear and equipment for multiple days.
I was going to say, I mean, we had a ton of tech in terms of cameras, lighting, miking, all of those puppeteers needed mic'd. We didn't have the interns mic'd, and also bringing in all of those puppets, so all of that was looped into the budget.
Yeah. Wrap up. Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you, Chris, Joe, Brianna, the NTEN team, and thank you so much for attending. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And
thanks, guys.
everyone, have a good night.
So thanks again to Victoria, to Jesse. One more round of applause. Don't forget, our next meeting is going to be on February 19th, talking about cybersecurity. And for those who are watching online, we're going to flip back to a brief clip of the actual live stream that y'all did, since we didn't get to show that in the beginning to the online crowd. So thanks for coming.
Hey there, are you a fan of Sesame Street? Have you ever wondered how the Sesame Street characters work and maybe even wanted to be a Sesame Street puppeteer? Well, if that's you, you are in luck because for the next hour, join me, Matt Vogel, I just bumped my mic, and Sesame Street Muppet performers Martin P. Robinson and Jennifer Barnhart for a Sesame Street Puppeteer Workshop on Facebook Live. Woo! Not live, it's live! Not
we
live!
wanted to show an integrated street. We wanted to show adults treating one another kindly, and we wanted the adults to be forceful and dignified.
Everything was to be educational, but entertaining as well. And so when they said Jim Henson, I said, you could get Jim Henson? And that was how Big Bird was born.